Hello.
Hola, hi, how are you?
I'm good. How about you, Alejandro?
Doing well, thank you, thank you. Here, just waiting that people connect but I think that we are live now.
Are we also live on LinkedIn? I think that's where
Let me check.
we
There's
redirected
nobody
you.
watching, so yeah, actually
Yes,
we
we're
are.
live on LinkedIn. Okay,
Perfect.
cool. And okay, we have Rupert here. Thank you. Someone who said hi, hi. Perfect. Maybe we can give it a couple of minutes while we wait. We had around 50 to 60 people that had signed up.
Perfect. Yeah, for sure. Let's wait a couple of minutes. Thank you, Robert, to see that we are live.
Finally. So this is the first time that we're doing the webinar via LinkedIn. I guess that was a bit obvious, but we're excited to have so many assistants. And thank you, Rupert, for being the first one to interact and give us a bit of green light and hope. Okay, awesome. Alejandro, how many people do we have connected now? Shall we get the party
We
started? Shall we
have
wait one more minute?
actually, I'm not sure. You're live, edit, view on LinkedIn. Um,
Well, it's fine. We're recording it, so we can always send it to whoever couldn't make it.
okay.
Oh, Christina. Okay. Thank you. Perfect. Good to know. So Christina just mentioned that the link that they registered redirected them to LinkedIn. So people need to sign up again on LinkedIn, and that might take them a little bit of a delay. So we
Oh,
can
good.
wait.
No, good to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's wait a couple of more minutes. Christina, Robert, maybe you can tell us where you're connecting from, where you guys based. Get that chat going a little bit. I'll start while we get the typing on. Alejandro, you're connecting from the Bay Area, right? You're in San
Yep.
Francisco.
Here, San Francisco, in the Bay Area. Here we are.
Nice. And I'm connecting all the way from Barcelona. So East, CIT, PST, across the globe.
Amazing. And how's the weather over around there?
Okay, Zurich, another European, Christina, Los Angeles. That's awesome. We're like on the same, two different time zones. The weather here, I love how we always end up redirecting or pivoting towards the weather talks. It's nice, it's sunny, it's humid, it's summertime. It's been a bit rainy today, but it's nice. How is it in Los Angeles, Switzerland, and San Francisco?
All around the world. Well, just one part of the world.
Mexico. No, in Mexico. We got Mexico now as well. I know we have a very nice community of Latin founders. A few of them might be connecting. It's also Colombia Tech Week going on. I don't know if you guys knew. So there's also a lot of things going on for the Latin founder community. Lisbon. Okay. Hi, Maria. Thanks for connecting. Maria will be joining the L40 team. We're very excited about that. So maybe next time you'll see her here on screen. And Madrid. Okay, cool. Cool. I love hearing how people are connecting, as you said, Alejandro, from all around the world. And I guess now it's 5 minutes past the clock. So what do you guys say? Shall we get the party started?
Yeah, let's start.
Let's do it. Okay, awesome. Well, in that case, I've already been talking for like 5 minutes straight, so I try to keep it very short and brief in terms of introductions. Firstly, thank you all for joining us. As you can see, this is the first episode of our AI for SaaS Founders series together with SVCH or Alejandro. SVCH is a Silicon Valley Certification Hub, or as here founder and CEO calls it, the MBA of AI for non-technical founders. So if you're a SaaS founder, this webinar is for you. If you're a non-technical founder, even better. You don't have to be a software developer or an engineer or know about coding or vibe coding to be able to understand and leverage what Alejandro is going to be teaching us today. And if you're none of the above and you just wanted to learn a little bit about AI, welcome. This webinar is also for you. Why we're doing it. In terms of who we are, Alejandro will do a way better job at introducing himself than I will, but I can talk a little bit about Help40. For all of you that don't know us, we're an M&A advisory firm for mid-market tech companies with a big focus on SaaS businesses. So what this essentially means is that when the right moment comes for you guys to sell your business, that's when you think of us. And why we do this is essentially because you need to build up until the moment comes, right? It's about building something, growing it, and then eventually you exit it. And you want to make sure that you grow it to the full capacity, that you make the most out of it, that you build a state-of-the-art business, and then eventually you're able to maximize the outcome when you're able to exit it. That's why for us at Help40, community is very important. Why? Because community is relationships. It's meeting people. It's knowledge. It's learning. It's giving value, absorbing that value, give and take. It's all about community. And as part of the community that we're building, we're doing events in person, online. It is actually a first online event, as you might have already noticed. And those in-person events, dinners, happy hours, breakfast, you guys, founders, have talked a lot about AI. No surprise, it's everywhere. We've heard a lot of questions. It's an opportunity, it's a challenge. And hopefully Alejandro here, who's an expert in the topic, will be able to answer throughout the course of this series many of those questions that you have. So Alejandro, did I miss anything?
No, I think it was
No?
really
Okay.
on point.
Okay, perfect. I hope it wasn't too long. Please, the stage is yours. This session is for you. Thank you for taking the time to prepare it and join us.
Thank you, Andrea. So I will share screen and let me show this. Perfect. So let's talk about how improve key metrics with artificial intelligence. You know, artificial intelligence now is everywhere, but we need to find the right place where it could add the most of the value. So let's go a little bit of what are we going to have today. We have first a little bit of context of on AI. We will talk about churn, CAC, pricing, through and on each one of those topics, we will see the frameworks that will be relevant for SaaS, some business cases and tools usage, and finally, what are the tools out there in the market to that could help to you as a founder, as a startup, to impact the most on those metrics. And at the end, wrap up on some questions that we have. We have here, Andrea. Do you want to introduce yourself? I think that you didn't introduce, Andrea.
Yeah, I think that counted. I think it's your time now. But essentially, yes, guys, this is me. And I lead all of this stuff that we're doing. Next.
Good, Andrea. So let's, and about me, I'm co-founder of Silicon Valley Certification Business School of Artificial Intelligence. I have spent the past years focused on artificial intelligence, working previously in technology and in strategy. So I'm not that technical. I'm a little bit technical, but not the software engineer. But it has been more around the how AI could impact different parts of the workflow, and mainly about the whole funnel for user acquisition and growth. And let's start with a really important thing, like what is happening and why AI is not adopted across everywhere. And it's because the real blocker is not the model. The model is working well, but the leadership is what is failing. Here we have that half of the artificial intelligence initiatives are failing in the initial stages because of proof of concept, because model validation, and that's because the leadership is not embracing the change, the proposals, doesn't understand really well. But why, if 9 out of 10 executives say that AI is strategic, but 80% are not working? Well, it's because it's not a good understanding of where could impact that tool in their work. 1 out of 5 cannot even explain the roadmap of on AI. There's like poor data sometimes. There's no good understanding. So this is like a lot of blockers out there. And what do we happen here? This is from McKinsey, and it's like, well, th- they ask to leaders like if they are using AI. It's a lot of data here, so let's understand a little bit. So first, every point is from 2021 to 2024. So we see over time how it has been increasing. Of course, is the new gold rush, so makes sense that it is growing the adoption of AI in different verticals. But when they ask, okay, they are like they ask to 1,500 leaders in the different industries. Are you using AI in one or more functions? Like, yes, almost 80%. That's a good one. But then when they start to ask like in two or more functions, in three or more, and so on, there are 11 verticals on average where they ask, and it's around 15% are using like in almost half of the company, not even all the company. So have we see here that there's a lot of opportunity out there in the market to go not just to the technical teams, to the software engineers, to data teams, but to the rest of the core areas where they could have a lot of impact for their growth and success. And thinking about that, let's talk about some cases. Let's talk about the funnel, from acquiring at the top of funnel, how to make it purchase, where pricing is key, and at the end, how to retain those users so the lifetime value could grow over time. By the way, if you have any question, feel free to write down in the comments, and let me know. You know, like,
Yeah.
and I will answer at
Yeah.
some point of the presentation.
We'll jump in with any questions you guys drop on the chat. Make sure they're all answered.
Perfect. So a little bit of CAC. I think that is not new for everybody here, but when we're talking about CAC, is the cost of acquiring a user. That it could be paid marketing, referrals, PR, and so on. Is usually expensive, mainly when we're talking B2B. And the, if they pay one time, it will not pay off for all that. So but over time, if they stay with the company, it will bring the payback period where it's break even, and from there the rest are positive revenues for the company. Just as a benchmark, an ideal payback is less than 12 months. Best in class is less than 6 months. That's for SaaS companies. And let's talk about an interesting case out there in the market that is working really well. Is Aurium. Aurium is an agent that help to reach out customers with through LinkedIn. So in B2B, LinkedIn is the best solution. You know, like there's out there like around 1 billion users that use LinkedIn, and most of the B2B sales are there. So Venture, they have like, they share with me this case of Venture is a reimbursement provider specifically for healthcare, and they reach out customers on LinkedIn. The process is manual because it's like, hey, are you interested in save some money? Hey, let's talk, whatever. So it's a full conversation. But what Orium does is like you prompt what's your ideal customer profile, what is the positions of the users that you are reaching out, what's the proposal of your company, the product, and the tone of how do you write, like if it's like long things or really short, like you are fine tuning a little bit those with queries, and at the end they link with your LinkedIn and reach out to them. So they are saying like, hey, are you interested? Like all the things that people is doing manually, they are automized. They are making an automation with it. So overall, 44%. Can you believe 44% of connections acceptance? And it's a lot. And 24 meeting booking. That means that it's increasing like one fourth the qualified leads that they are getting just because of this tool. Actually, if you are interested, they're like Alec. Um, you can book a time with him. They can show you like the tool. I'm not selling. I'm not getting any commission, but this is a really interesting solution for out there that is out there in the market. And here are like the tools that overall out are there. It's not one tool fits all. Is There are like different staging companies, there are like different solutions. It's not like just one type chat gpt, I want to sell more, and next day you have a lot of revenues. You need to understand what parts needs more help, it could add more value, and where is your company. So we have divided by early stage and growth, or that are late or more mature. But there are like, for CAC improvement, there are like three main groups that we can allocate. First, the ICP, the ideal customer profile prospecting and outreach. Lead scoring, like that they will say like, okay, this is a qualified lead, this is not, do not keep looking for them. And at the end, website and ad optimization to improve your SEO, to automatize content creation, and so on. Really famous, by the way, is Jasper. Jasper is really good for content creation. Also, Six Sense, they have really interesting agents, workflows, and so on. We talk about Orium, that is really good for early stage. And Wicked Reports is like, you have to be mature. There's like a different complexity. You are investing in a lot of channels, Google, Facebook, TikTok, and so on. And there's kind of messy the attribution. So MMM will help to figure out where to invest more. Now, let's talk about conversion and what this helps to convert to for conversion is pricing. Pricing is a whole word. It's like super interesting, but also there's a lot of things out there in the market. We can divide it by three main ways. Cost base, which is think about the supply. If you are the company, you have just information about you and some competitors. Value based, you have more insights about your customer profile, what they buy, what are their options out there. And data driven is for more mature companies with good data that they can take real time decisions. There are like some models out there. Cost based are mainly those out like, okay, this is what it costs, and I want to have a premium, like a plus, or taking into consideration competitors, or the Lanchesters that take into consideration the stage in your growth. If you are a new competitor, if you're mature, if you want to gain market share, like all that. Value based are mainly premiums, like more thinking about the user. Like it's not just how much it costs to me, it's like what I'm solving to the user. What are the options for the user? What's the if it's something premium, is it like valuable? And the Weber Fechner, by the way, I love it because it's a formula that based on local rhythms that helps to analyze like what's your product, the close competitors, and what it has to be the right gap in price so you can differentiate. It's not the gap just to have it in the middle. Or you are like just giving money away. Uh, it's like it maximizes like that. And data driven, which is more about AI, it needs is in the dynamic pricing. Imagine Uber that is like all the time changing supply and demand. So it's dynamic based on both. Predictive, which is more like based on seasonality, based on competitors, based on a lot of other variables, how to manage that. Mainly are ML, like machine learning models, and conjoined, which is like technically a mix of a lot of things in order to set the right pricing. And as you can see, it depends to the maturity of that. If you are early stage, if you are just starting, do not go for the dynamic pricing because maybe you will need a lot of data and a team focused on that. So um, and let's go with an interesting case. This is actually, by the way, that's a good question from Manuel. I will answer before going to this one. What's expected ROI for using AI for LinkedIn outreach? Example, Orium or similar. Would you recommend developing a solution in-house? Sometimes I feel most the tools are basic wrappers. That's a really good question, and I think it depends of the maturity of the of the company. So there are like we can divide it in two. For early stages where we don't have there's not a lot of human of time, is really efficient, cost efficient, like to do that. But it has to be also need somebody that train. It doesn't have to be an expert, but somebody that be focused on sales. So Orium, it's really good because it reduces time to get the qualified lead. So at the end, that's a really specific solution. And I think it's out there, out of the shelf, and it's really easy. Actually, we use it in Silicon Valley Certification Hub. Is one of the tools that we use, and it has helped to not spend a lot of time on following up on LinkedIn, and it's having a good ROI because the tool is not expensive, and it pay offs with all the additional um, qualified leads that we're getting. We don't have a specific ROI so far, but it's positive. Um, and recommend developing the solution in house, just if you are mid or big. At that time, it makes sense to develop because you need somebody that you need specific engineers that help to build that. Now it's easier actually, with all the vibe coding, with Replit, with all that. So maybe it could be interesting to do it in house. I haven't know about it, but so far what I may recommend is to start with the off-shelf solutions, because are cost efficient, because already understand the needs, already have good understanding, and eventually when it's you understand the value, what where it helps, like what is the right way to fits to your company, try to adapt in-house based on already best practices. Hopefully I answered your question, Manuel. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing is really interesting, as I mentioned. This is from a paper actually from the University of Milan. If there's somebody from Italy, maybe know the authors or something, but it's really interesting because it shows that how the adjusting on pricing with ML models have a huge impact. Look this, like 50% more revenues, 30% bigger order size versus human set pricing. We can think that pricing is not is kind of something that works already. Let's keep it there and maybe give some promotions and so on. But if with AI can change the game, because then can have a huge impact in the bottom line of the companies. Look this graph. They analyze seats, frequency, engagement of the users, and so on. And it's an A/B test, and it's a total increase and the proportion of products. This is like a percentage as well. So we can see how it grows a lot. It's always the blue, which is the test, the pricing, smart pricing out there is always higher than the control test. So that is saying that across all type of users, with the right adjustment in price, with the right methodology, there's a huge opportunity with a good pricing model. So pricing is really, really key. So do not think that this just working and don't do anything. And let's do a case, see a case. This is pros. Is more for big companies or like more mature companies. But next slide, I have some solutions for more early stages. So
And
pros.
Alejandro,
Yep.
apologies for stopping you. The Rupert and the people connecting, they're asking if we can get rid of the chat window that is like on the bottom right, that's like right on top of the graph. You're the admin
This
of the
one?
session. Okay, yes, perfect.
Perfect.
Is that better, guys? Hope it is. We'll send the deck after, so if you missed the previous graphs, don't worry, they'll be right in your inbox.
Oh, perfect. Okay, thank you so much. Good. So let's go with pros. Similar idea is saying like they show a case where up to 20% uplift on revenues and margin improvement of 5%. So they have like all these great results, and they have like really interesting case here where we can see the price change direction. So it's like percentage of transactions by the change in pricing that they optimized with their ML models. And we can see the 0% is no change. But what we can see is that how is moving up. So there's like an increase in prices overall that helps to bring like that one. So if you have like hundreds, millions of users and they are paying like small gaps in pricing that maybe that are not noticeable, that they do not notice, then in their bottom line is working like really, really, really good. There are like tools out there that I recommend here. We're analyze pros. We have also divided early, growth, and late. But what are the options here? We have A/B testing for price, dynamic pricing that explains by itself. We have like even like there are like some companies that focus on early stage dynamic pricing, so it could be that they have like good solutions. The Bendabo is like much like bigger, and it gives like advisory consulting on solutions, but there are like also like Black Curve that helps to that. And for forecasting, that is like the stage before dynamic pricing. So actually, for in general, I recommend to start with A/B test and forecasting before going to dynamic pricing, because sometimes the insights we can get there. We have Pigment, Forecastio, and so on that are focusing on different solutions and also have different ways to link with your own data. And let's talk finally about churn. So, okay, your user arrive, you improve your CAC, now it paid back before. They convert with because they find a good price that fits for them. Now, how to retain in the company, how to improve the churn. And here's where AI can help to predict. This is actually uh, uh, really interesting because you have is mainly internal data. For CAC and for pricing, it's more about external data. Um, Sources from Google, G4, from Meta, from your CRM and so on. But retention is like a lot of patterns and behavior of the users that you already have. You have voluntary and involuntary. What's voluntary? Okay, uh, there's another competitors like you increase the price and I cannot do it anymore. Your service is not working really well, and so on. Involuntary, that's really interesting as well because our issues with the billing system, the service I do not understand, and I didn't have a good onboarding. There's like service it doesn't match with my data pipeline and so on. But how it help AI, or the mainly here are machine learning models, are to recognize those patterns and say like, okay, you have the users, I analyze, I have happy customers and not happy customers. Let's re-engage. Let's give them promotions, discounts, communicate, and so on. So Pendo is focused more on growth stage companies. They help to reduce the churn, and what they do is they analyze logins, feature usage, engagement patterns, and they work with HackerRank, which is technical interviews. They are like a sourcing company, and what they do is they track like all that, and at the end reduce. This is a little bit tricky because it sounds huge, 50% reduction, but this among the at risk accounts, which still is a really important, because we don't know. For example, if you have a base of 1000 users, you do not have to bring discounts, coupons, and communicate to those that are already love your product, um, or talk with all of them. But those that are at risk, that have a pattern that eventually will close the deal with you, then you need to do it before they complain or before they call and say, I want to cancel my subscription or your service. For example, working at my previous job, I remember that when we saw like 1 month, like 4 weeks consecutive with less orders per week than the average, like a specific percentage, but we saw a reducing track, then is really likely to cancel or to stop using the product, and it's really expensive then to bringing back. So it's cheaper to re-engage, to bringing back to the normal usage with discounts, with communication, with onboarding, rather than lost them, because it's really expensive that somebody that already tried it, and even if we have better solution, if we have something, it's really difficult to bring them back. And we can see here a normal, like a retention. This is from their example on how it went in less than a year from almost 100 to 25. So it's normal to lose 75% of the users. Um, but that changed by cohort, by experience, and so on. So Pendo, it helps to bring all those insights. Here is like more, there's a bunch of things there. So here, what I recommend is to understand first, well, your company stage, early, growth, late, and then decide for low cost, quick wins, or more strategic, but require bigger investment. For example, let's think about early stage. Is cheap is to send some reminders, some continuous feedback, ask some polls so people can be engaged with you. It requires more effort and work. Well, optimal onboarding, continuous communication, but those are also key for their growth. In growth, you we have more another level: engagement initiative, incentives, usage analytics, but also proactive customer support or and personalized customer experience, so they can understand what's the value for them. And late is more continuous education, customer success managers. Here's a huge area actually for customer success, which is not customer experience. Success is more like, okay, how is everything going? Like keep communicating and engaging with them, so they can understand the value and they can build a good relationship company, and so on. We have another question from Manuel actually.
And it's a good one, very relevant to this slide in particular.
How many data points and company history do you need for churn prediction models to be accurate? I guess you need full visibility on past cohorts, lifetime performance to train the model. Yes. So it's not easy for a churn prediction to be accurate. Like you need a good data points. What overall a good rule of thumb is at least 1,000 data points, or are from, imagine like at least 1,000 users and the data points from them. So with that, at least that's a rule of thumb. Like with that will help to have early signals for their churn prediction. But those has to be analyzed over time, not just like the average of those 1,000. It has to be analyzed over time on the life cycle of the user, and then compared with historical benchmarks. Because as we saw in the previous slide, so maybe we can see like 25%. It's good or bad. Uh, it, it depends of your product. So it needs to be analyzed with good. For example, here we have those visitors in November. We have 55%, and the rest are like really high. So then that becomes your benchmark. So what happened during this in this cohort that had better retention over time. Uh, so start with 1,000 and at least 6 months to understand the trends, and from there iterate and then run again and understand what is happening. This is a mix of qualitative and quantitative because it could change mainly the experience. So what UX does as well is to talk with them, to ask them what the most important features and so on, to understand what was experienced between each cohort. Um, Hopefully, I answered your question, Manuel. And here are the tools: early stage, growth, and late. And we can analyze by user insights, which is something that we talk like how many times do they use it, what happened in this cohort, and so on. Personalized engagement, they make an automation of the content. If they are ready to churn, send a promotion, send a comment, and so on. And finally, analytics and prediction, which is like really similar to you. This is cohort that is having this behavior. Let's re-engage. Let's send another message, promotions, make a call, um, give them an upgrade for free or things like that. Um, that's pretty much it. Let's go with takeaways before the Q&A. Takeaways for acquisition. Yes, AI can reduce CAC. From messaging, from optimizing targeting, it will it can help SaaS companies to improve the qualified leads. The outcome mainly reduce the payback period, reduce CAC. For conversion, AI pricing through A/B testing to detecting buying patterns, AI can help to increase revenue 15% more. We saw that case of 50% just with dynamic pricing to understand the user behavior and set the right pricing for them. Key metrics here: the revenue per user or the lifetime value, and the conversion. How many are becoming part came for premium to paid or so on. Finally, retention. Track engagement to flag at-risk users. Do not wait that they are out of the platform because it will be really costly to bringing back. So with early detection, with the right triggers, it will increase the overall lifetime value without extra acquisition costs. So with all that, I think that will be really important for you as a founder to improve your data, improve your results, your bottom line, and have a really successful exit, which is the dream, everybody's dream. And please follow us, Andrea and Alejandro. We have, and also the companies that we can find in our profiles. Um, how are you, Andrea? Sorry if it was too long my presentation.
No, I think it was good. Thank you, Alejandro. I was just gonna say also, you can see Silicon Valley is linked to the courses side. On our side, at F40, we've been publishing quite a lot of content on AI and how they relate to exits. So how it relates to valuations, to the SaaS verticals in AI that might be getting more hype and so on. That's why the link is to our insights page. And perhaps, Alejandro, shall we open a bit the session, see if there are any more comments? I have a couple of questions for you that might give some extra time for the people listening to come up with questions if they have any questions. You have a very
Perfect.
packed computer.
Oh
We're
no.
still seeing your screen, you know that, right?
Let me move back.
That's a
Thank
beautiful
you.
background, though. That's totally fine. I guess one of the general questions that I had in mind that some people here might be asking themselves is, as a SaaS founder, how do I really know if my company is ready for AI? Is there such a thing as being ready for AI? Is there a framework or playbook that founders can use to assess which tool might be a better fit for them, if it's time for them to invest in it, or if they should be prioritizing other things as they build their company?
Okay, so here there are like three things that are really important before knowing if your SaaS is ready for AI: data, OKRs, and ownership. Data, you need the right, as Manuel mentioned, you need the good data there: logins, click streams, product events, segments, and so on. And you need the good data maturity for that. It's important that decentralized, that you have a source of truth. Here we have a Snowflake, Amplitude that helps to align all that data so you can have a good uh, stream of data out there. Second, business objectives. The It needs to be really clear what's the pain point in the company. Is conversion? Is the is conversion? Is acquisition? Is pricing? Is onboarding friction, and so on? So understand what's the main opportunity out there, and then look a solution that help to do it. And finally, the ownership. If the stakeholders or the area is not involved early, then it's likely that they will not use the tool, or they will not trust in the data, or they just keep the way that they work. And we have seen, as I showed them in the first slide, it's really important that they understand the way uh, that they embrace the solution if they want that creates an impact. So for me, are those the three things, or things that you need to check before going to a solution with AI: your data, your OKRs alignment, and clear ownership.
Okay, that was a super complete answer. Thank you for that. Then I have another question, which is a bit more
Let
practical.
me okay.
See? Okay. What is actually the cost of implementing these tools? Like, I'm thinking some of the SaaS founders might be raising capital or might be seeking that balance between growth and break even. What's the range of cost that it might take for them to implement these tools in acquisition, churn, pricing that you've talked about?
Okay. It depends on. Let's talk about the three cases that we saw. So CAC, pricing, and churn. For CAC, usually is mainly around uh, at least $2,000, depending mainly on the monthly active users. So all depends on the company side. But with $1,000 to $2,000 a month will be the cost to have a good implemented thing, without taking into consideration labor, or like your team, right? But I think it's a little bit expensive, but it pay offs, because at the end those demonstrate good ROI with good implementation. So I mentioned, I think that the best is to find like those areas of opportunity, see what fits better based on your stage, then align with sales to have a um, free usage of the platform for 1 month or something, so you can understand the value, how it works, if you have the right data and everything, and start to measure like the ROI, if it makes sense for you or not. For pricing, for example, Optimus AI and those that I mentioned usually are a little bit more expensive, starting with 3K to till 8K, because that requires a lot of data analysis, and mainly if are dynamic. That's why and but also are super powerful. To find the right pricing strategy for the company is not trivial, so that's why they have a higher prices because they know the value that can bring to the companies. But as I mentioned, this those are better for more mature stage companies. And for churn users, also start with from 2000. Even if you think about communications, um, for example, CRM solutions, things that integrate with HubSpot, you can find like less than $1,000 tools that could help to churn. But the most expensive, the more mainly is about the connection with other tools in the system. So if you already have HubSpot, LinkedIn, if you have other tools, um, SurveyMonkey and things like that, that also is the value and the price. So if you are early stage and you are just using LinkedIn, you can find like solutions like really affordable. For example, for Orium, the first that we mentioned, the cost is less than for now, at least. Now is like round start in $200 or $300 a month.
Okay, so that could be a good starting point for some of the founders
Mhm.
that are listening. That, and again, this is not a sales pitch, by the way, guys. We don't get any referrals from this conversation. Okay, interesting. Um, I think those were the two questions I had top of mind. I guess we can perhaps leave the chat open a few more minutes. Rupert, Camiso, Manuel, Carlos, Mauricio, Maria, Sarah, Cristina. I don't know if you might have any other questions. The other people that have connected that haven't interacted on the chat, I don't have your names, but you're just as welcome to ask questions here in the chat. We'll wait for a couple of minutes in case there are any questions. And again, we'll send the slides. You have our LinkedIn profiles. You can reach out individually. We talked a lot about artificial intelligence. This was the topic for today's session and series. We're planning a couple more episodes. Would love your feedback to make sure they're relevant and bring value to you. If you have questions related more to the M&A side of things and to selling your business, feel free to reach out to me and I'll make sure that I answer all of your questions. And okay, Rupert, thank you. I guess no questions on that end. So if we don't have any questions, I guess we can wrap it up. Alejandro, what do you think? Any last minute
Perfect.
thoughts, takeaways? Okay, awesome. Well, Alejandro, thank you again. It's been an amazing session, very instructive. I've definitely taken a lot of notes. I hope all of you guys have as well. And I'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you, everybody.
Awesome. And God, how could you help in geopolitics? Well, with that's a different topic, Robert, where we can always discuss.
Maybe
But okay.
let's see.
By
But
the
thank you,
way,
Rupert, for
in
the
our
comment.
by the way, in our insights page, Our managing director at L40 wrote a whole article about tariffs and how they could affect SaaS businesses. So if that's a topic you're interested in, Rupert, go check it out. You'll find it on our web. Had to say that. Okay, awesome.
Good.
Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
See you next time.